Look who showed up in studio for the latest edition of Luke Who's Talking. It's Luke Willson, looking like a young Steve McQueen with the turtleneck here.
I'll take that.
Yeah,
I'm trying to get into the fashion world, so I do know Steve McQueen.
Right.
Him and about 2 other people. I think that's the fashion guy, right?
Well, that's Alexander McQueen.
God, that's so bad. I'm an idiot.
No, you're not.
I was close.
It doesn't matter. This is all useless. We're supposed to talk sports.
Yeah.
Now,
Oh, man.
We're only 11 days away from the Super Bowl. Chiefs going for the three-peat. We all know this. Chiefs in the Super Bowl for the 4th time in 5 years. It's actually incredible. But I got to ask you, are you tired of this team?
I'm not. I'm
Okay.
not, Jay, and I get how people, Chiefs, back again, yada, yada, yada. But I think the true football people out there, that's what I'm going to say, the football people, can appreciate a lot of things about this run. And I'll start with the coaching. Andy Reid, Steve Spagnuolo, the whole staff. I'll say that, again, these guys are scheming up. The AFC is deeper than the NFC. They are scheming up Josh Allen, the Bills. Years past, going back to last year, it was the Ravens. Yep. They're beating everyone. DeMeco Ryans came in this year with a tough Houston Texans defense, and they found a way to win there. So I appreciate what they're doing and how every week they have a target on their back and every week they have found a way. It is true greatness. And the next thing I'll say is I appreciate how they play the game. It's still a very, very tough football team. As much as they do razzle-dazzle, the foundation and the identity of this team is very tough football, very, very good in the trenches on defense. They play tough defense, and they commit to trying to run the ball. They're not a great run team, but it's there. They understand the importance of it.
Yep.
So, Jay, I don't get sick of it because I think it's true greatness.
Now let's talk about Nick Sirianni. Because I know you have some opinions. 4th season he's been the Eagles head coach. They made the playoffs each season. And let's be honest, 2 of the last 3 seasons, they're in the Super Bowl. And it was pretty impressive last week, the way they won that NFC championship.
Yes.
Full domination. Having seen that, are you maybe ready to change your tune a little bit about Nick Sirianni?
Yes, I think you have to. You have to, give the man some respect. You said it, 2nd Super Bowl. Last week, to me, is what they should look like week in and week out. And I understand that was, 50-plus points. It was dominant. But I think what frustrates me with Nick Sirianni and the staff is that they've got the number 1 defense. Vic Fangio's got that defense humming. Jalen Carter's playing out of his mind. And you look and you're like, man, Saquon Barkley had arguably one of the greatest seasons ever at running back. This offensive line is disgustingly good. A.J. Brown is a top 5 talent. Devontae Smith is a top 10 talent. Dallas Goedert is a phenomenal tight end. How is this team not hanging 35 week in and week out? And if they get a couple turnovers, more than that. So I do tip my cap to the man because they're back again. But in the same breath, this is a team that I think should have probably been 16-1, 15-2, and ripping every game by 55 points. I know that sounds crazy, but I believe it.
There's lots of time to talk Super Bowl, so I want to ask you about a couple of guys you're very familiar with. And I wondered maybe if you rock the full ensemble here in honor of your boy, Pete Carroll, who's now the new head coach of the Las Vegas Raiders. And Pete was asked on a podcast Tuesday if he'd consider a reunion with Russell Wilson in Las Vegas. Said it was too soon in the process to think about it. Classic Pete. Really good, very diplomatic. But objectively, do you actually think there might be a fit there?
I don't. I think that there was a lot of things that happened in Seattle. Those guys ran their course. The bridges potentially were burned. I love their cordial in the media.
Right.
But I think that Pete probably wants to move on, and I would be surprised if Russ wants to go back there. One of the things I caught from Pete's press conference is we're going to run the football and play defense.
Right.
That's what he wanted to do in Seattle. When we won, that is what we did. We played defense, and we said, Marshawn, here's the ball. We said, Doug Baldwin, Golden Tate, Jermaine Kearse. Let's get a couple explosives to complement our run game. Control the game, win in the fourth quarter, and it worked very well. I don't think on the offensive side of the ball, Pete's going to want a ton of big personalities. He's going to want a team to come out here, get some O-linemen, get a quarterback that's going to run the system, and run the football. So I would be very surprised if that's the way Pete Carroll goes.
How long do you think it'll take Pete to fully implement? They always talk about he's got a program. It's top to bottom, right? You don't just come in as a coach, everything changes. But you got Mark Davis kind of hanging over you.
Lingering
meddling with that bizarre haircut.
Yes.
How do you think he's going to do? And how long do you think, if he's able to be successful in implementing that program, how long do you think it's going to take?
I think they're going to be a fringe playoff team this year. I honestly believe that. And I think they'll be in the playoffs in 2 years.
Wow.
One of the things, Jay, with teams and guys is when you're in an organization that's such a gong show. I'll use that term. You know, you're all of a sudden you're McDaniels a couple years ago, into Antonio Pierce. You want structure. You want a good coach. You want a winner in there. So as much as it's like, oh, we've been dysfunctional for 2 years, we haven't won, that frustration, and Pete will be the guy that can kind of bottle that up and be like, listen, we've done this before. You know, I know how to get the boys going. I know how to get us on the same page. All I'm asking is that you will buy in now. And Pete has a profound way about getting people to buy into things that they normally wouldn't do. Again, I think the fact that there's been so much dysfunction there helps Pete, because he'll come in and kind of not give a sense of normalcy, but give a sense of direction. And it's amazing. I think you've seen it this year. I would say, you know, Dan Campbell's a prime example of this. Obviously, they have a ton of talent in Detroit, too. But when you can get 53 guys in the NFL all on a one-track mind, you can win a lot of ball games in that league.
He'll be 75 in 2 years.
Youngest 75-year-old.
I was just going to say, you'd never know it. You know, the way he moves on the sideline, he's very spry. He looks like he's in great shape.
One of the most inspirational moments of my life happened in Seattle, Washington. He was probably 62 at the time. It was 6 a.m. in the morning. I was walking up the cafeteria stairs. I had a bad ankle, wiping my eyes. I'm like, oh, it's December. It's West Coast. You know how it goes. You haven't seen the sun in 3 days. And Pete Carroll was shaking with excitement. And I remember saying to myself, I was a rookie, if our 62-year-old coach is that excited, we didn't have a game that week. We had a bye week, too, which made it crazier. On a Monday morning at 6 a.m., why me at 23 years old am I not this fired up about being here, playing this league, being on this team, and I need to totally change my attitude.
Wow.
He'll be the same way at 75. This man does not stop. He'll be chewing gum. He'll be ripping around. He'll be listening to his classical tunes, because that's what he does, a lot of old school stuff. And it'll be a fun atmosphere in Las Vegas.
Man, you got me excited about it. That was a great hype fitted right there for Pete Carroll in Vegas. Okay, FanDuel Kick of Destiny is returning for the Super Bowl, Luke. Now, hold on, because I know you're going to be excited about this. He missed the kick back-to-back years, Rob Gronkowski, so he's out this year. Gronk is out. He probably wants a little bit of a break. This year, we've got Peyton and Eli Manning, the Mannings, facing off at a field goal competition. All they have to do is make 25-yard field goals.
Yeah.
They're Super Bowl winners. They're incredible athletes. Which brother do you think has the edge?
Eli. Without a doubt.
Why?
Eli is this guy. This is Eli. This is his career. You know, he's going to come in here. Everyone's going to be like, Peyton, Peyton. They think Peyton. And I love Peyton. Don't know the guy. I saw him once. It was a great story, like he does. You know, most people have a great story about Peyton. And huge head, by the way. Massive
That's
head.
The forehead. Is the
not even the forehead, like the whole cranium. It's wild.
Just the entire dome.
Yeah, big dome.
Yeah, big dome.
Great.
Guy.
I mean, one of the best players I've ever seen played against.
For sure.
And you hear a lot of great things. Well, you hear great things about Eli. Just like Eli in the Super Bowl. As soon as no one expects him, he's going to come in there. He's probably going to hit it dead straight.
Yep.
And be in great shape.
You know, it'd be amazing if David Tyree held the ball for him.
Yeah, that would be
But did
cool.
it on his helmet, and Eli kicked it off a stool or something. You can take that idea, Eli. We'll let you have that one. Okay, so Eli, looking forward to that. FanDuel Kick of Destiny right around the Super Bowl. It's going to be a lot of fun. This has been fun. Thanks, buddy.